Number 5. In November of 2017, a group of workers at a McDonald's located in Melbourne were held at gunpoint during an armed robbery. Two unknown men entered the restaurant at around 1:50 a.m. with shirts tied over their faces, holding a knife and gun, demanding cash from the register. The employees, without a second's thought, simply raised their hands and let the men ransack the place, stealing the majority of the cash that was available. After reviewing surveillance video, police believe the men were also linked to an earlier robbery involving a Nissan car that had been stolen. The entire event was captured on the restaurant's CCTV, though the suspects still remain at large. Have a look, and if you happen to know who either of these two men are, we ask that you phone the Melbourne Police or Crime Stoppers. Number 4. This next post actually came from a Reddit user who says, "So I work at a small McDonald's in an even smaller town in the south, and I've encountered many strange people and seen some messed up things so far. But I saw something today that I thought I would never see and was shocked at how many people didn't know what was going on or what was taking place right in front of them. I was working behind the counter at around 7 p.m. and we had lots of people in the lobby, a few children as well. I like little kids, so I usually watch them play around in the lobby because they're really cute, but I got distracted by a large amount of customers we had to serve and ignored them for about 15 minutes. Though I looked back when I heard a man say in a small voice, almost whispering, 'So how old are you?' I turned around to see an extremely tall man with a shaved head and a red shirt, talking to a little girl who was about 5 or 6 years old. He had a little boy around the same age on his shoulders who was giggling. They were beautiful children with blonde hair and blue eyes. I saw that they were happy and that the guy seemed friendly, but in my head I was still extremely worried. I had a huge suspicion upon seeing this that these kids were not his. I mean, think about it. What grown man would ask a little girl how old she is? And if he knew her, then wouldn't he already know? And why would he care? But after this, he said something that made my heart sink. "You should come with me. I have a little brother who's 6 too. Let's go play with him." He then began to walk toward the exit with the boy on his shoulders and the girl tagging along. I immediately shot for the door to stop him, but just as I could, a lady came out of the bathroom with blonde hair screaming, "Hey, where are you guys going? Get over here." The tall guy froze with eyes as big as saucers. He was absolutely petrified. The lady then scooped up the little girl into her arm and reached for the boy as the tall man let him down, stammering and saying, "Oh, I was just playing with them. They're really nice kids. I just really like kids." He said this all at once with a very nervous smile. The blonde lady then faked a smile back and ended up saying, "Well, I'm glad you had a nice time, but we need to go order now," and led the kids back into the restaurant. The tall guy then hurried for an exit, and the lady clutched her kids close the entire time that she was there, even in their booth. Number 3. This clip you're about to see was actually just released yesterday, January 14th, 2018. According to police, a masked man approached the drive-thru window of his local McDonald's dressed in all black. He then reached through the window, grabbed a hold of the cashier, and began to make his way into the drive-thru window. The man then successfully entered the restaurant and chased the cashier around a corner before falling out of sight of the camera. The man then rushed back into frame moments later, grabbed the cash register, and left through the window. Luckily, the employee made it out safely, though police are still looking for the man involved. Have a look at a clip that was captured from the restaurant's CCTV.
Right at the window, and it was right around this time of the night when this happened that robber ran through this parking lot and jumped into that window, terrifying employees and customers.
This is a dangerous situation anytime somebody's brandishing a handgun.
Newly released video shows a man dashing past cars at the busy McDonald's on Wesley Chapel Road. Then you see him grab the cashier right through the window. When she escapes his grasp, he jumps in through the drive-thru.
This subject decided that this was a better way to do it. He was small enough to get through that window at the time.
It was around 11:30 at night back on January 2nd when police say other employees saw and heard the struggle and ran. Some of them were hurt trying to get to safety. Jew Washington says he could have been in the drive-thru that night.
I go there every night. Every night, get something, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
He could have attempted to rob the people in the vehicles who were in the drive-thru.
You can see one witness in the drive-thru pull away when they realized what was happening. Meanwhile, the robber got away with the cash register. Now police need leads to find him. They say he's about 5'8" and slim. His blue shoes stand out next to his all-black clothing, but police hope it's also what you hear
Open the register.
that will help give away his identity.
We can hear his voice, so maybe if somebody recognizes his voice or his description, then they could help us out.
I mean, I hope they get him. They need to get him. It could have been kids in there at night. Anything like kids in the car could got shot and got shot.
Number 2. In March of 2016, police began intervening in what many are calling one of the biggest brawls since the London riots, with over 200 young individuals becoming involved, armed with knives and nail-studded baseball bats. A short clip of the riot was captured by a bystander, though it only shows the tail end of the altercation. According to authorities, only 21 individuals were arrested for their involvement in the attack, with many of the others fleeing before police could detain them. The entire event lasted an estimated 6 hours, but somehow no one was severely injured. A few participants were taken to the hospital, but they were all released fairly quickly. Take a look at a short clip from the attack. Number 1. In July of 1984, a massive attack was carried out in a McDonald's in Southern California, in which 41-year-old James Huberty took the lives of 21 individuals, as well as severely wounding 19 others with guns. According to eyewitness accounts, as well as police reports, James drove to the restaurant around 4 p.m. with 3 separate guns and a bag full of ammunition. At the time of his arrival, there were an estimated 45 people inside of the restaurant. As he entered, he immediately took out the 22-year-old manager, then fired at a 16-year-old cashier, hitting him directly in the chest. James then ordered the entire restaurant to get on the ground, explaining that he was about to end the lives of thousands of people. After hearing this, a customer named Victor Rivera attempted to persuade James to put the gun down, though James began screaming at him, firing a total of 14 rounds into Rivera. After this, James then headed across the restaurant to a table filled with women and children, firing at one of the women 48 separate times. According to police officers at the time of the incident, a distress call was made to 911 at exactly 4 p.m., only 4 minutes after the attack had begun. Officers would have arrived at the scene within minutes and could have saved the lives and injuries of countless people, though an inexperienced 911 dispatcher directed police to the incorrect McDonald's location, causing them to arrive at a restaurant that was on the opposite side of town. The attack continued on for an hour and 20 minutes, with police being unable to restrain or take out James without the fear of wounding hostages. Though a SWAT sniper was eventually dispatched onto the roof of a neighboring business and was able to take out James with a single shot to the chest at approximately 5:17 p.m. In total, James's victims ranged from 8 months old to 74 years old. And after just 2 days of the incident taking place, the McDonald's in question was renovated, remodeled, and ready to reopen without a second's thought. Though this effort was eventually squashed by locals who instead insisted the building be torn down. McDonald's then issued a $1 million survival fund to the families of the victims. To this day, this attack remains one of the most violent events to have ever taken place on American soil, and is ranked as the 7th greatest loss of life in America due to gun violence. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.